3 years ago, when my folks passed, they didn't just leave me a house, they handed me a slice of paradise. A sprawling coastal estate just outside Sarasota, Florida, with a breezy 2-story home, a wraparound porch, and a real showstopper. A massive backyard pool, framed by swaying palms with the ocean shimmering in the distance. It was the kind of place you'd see in a magazine, but it had been in our family for decades. I'm Jake Carter, 37, a software engineer who'd finally had enough of throwing cash at rent. Last year, I packed up and moved in, ready to make this place my own, to sink into the memories and roots it held. The property came with perks, privacy, no landlord breathing down my neck, and one crucial fact: it wasn't part of the Pinewood HOA that governed the neighboring development. My parents had fought tooth and nail to keep it that way when the housing boom crept closer to the coast. I thought I'd settle in with nothing but quiet sunsets and the sound of waves. Man, was I wrong. Enter Karen Walsh, the newly minted president of the Pinewood HOA. She showed up about a month after I'd settled in, catching me off guard while I was trimming hedges by the fence. "Oh, hello there. You must be Jake," she called, her voice dripping with rehearsed charm. I turned to see a woman in her early 50s, blonde bob pristine, sunglasses perched on her head, wearing a crisp white blouse that screamed, "I'm casual, but in charge." She introduced herself as the HOA president, extending a hand over the fence with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I shook it, a bit thrown, but kept it polite. "Nice to meet you, Karen. Just so you know, I'm not part of Pinewood." Her smile flickered, but she recovered fast. "Oh, of course. But we're all neighbors, right? I just wanted to swing by, say hi, and let you know about the great Sarah VYCS. Our HOA offers maintenance, pool cleaning, neighborhood watch. We even give discounts if you join voluntarily." I shook my head, keeping it light. "Thanks, but I'm good. I handle my own upkeep and don't plan on joining any associations." She tilted her head, GIVYing me a look that was half pity, half something sharper. "Well, Jake, it's not always just about you. It's about community. That pool of yours is gorgeous. I know families who'd love a dip now and then. Sharing's what makes a neighborhood, don't you think?" My gut tightened. Was she serious? I kept my tone firm, but CIVYL. "I'm sure they would, but it's private property, Karen. It's not open to anyone." She laughed, brushing lint off her sleeve. "Just a thought." Over the next few weeks, Karen kept popping up like an unwelcome pop-up ad. She'd drop by with flyers for HOA events, slip friendly notes under my door about lawn standards that didn't apply to me, and ramble about how the neighborhood thrives when everyone works together. Each time, I held my ground. "I'm not in your HOA. I manage my place fine. Let's keep things clear." But every time I saw her striding up with that perfect smile, my patience wore thinner. There was something calculating behind her friendliness, like she wasn't used to hearing no. I didn't know it then, but Karen Walsh wasn't the type to back off. She was about to show me just how far she'd go. It was a Saturday afternoon, one of those golden Florida days where the air's thick, but the ocean breeze keeps you sane. I just finished mowing the lawn and was heading inside for a cold drink when I caught movement by the side gate. My stomach dropped. 3 kids I didn't know were clustered there, laughing, kicking off sandals, and sprinting for my pool. I bolted over, shouting, "Hey, what are you doing?" Then I saw her, Karen, in a pastel sundress and sun hat, standing by the now wide-open gate, while VYing like she was hosting a barbecue. "Oh, Jake, I hope you don't mind," she called, her voice all sugar. These kids were dying to cool off. I told them they could pop in for a quick swim. "It's so hot, isn't it?" I was floored. My heart pounded, not just from shock, but from the sheer nerve of it. She'd let herself in, opened my gate, and then VY Ted strangers' kids onto my property without asking. "Karen, no," I said, marching toward them. "This is private property. You can't just let people in, especially kids." "What are you thinking?" Her face fell into a perfect mask of hurt. "Oh, Jake, don't be like that. I thought you were just shy before. We're neighbors. I figured you'd see how happy they are." I calmly but firmly asked the kids to grab their stuff and leave. They looked confused but shuffled out, glancing at Karen, who now wore a tight-lipped smile. "This isn't up for debate," I said, locking the gate. "You don't have permission to be here." I don't want anyone in my pool, kids, adults, nobody. And stop coming onto my property without asking. She crossed her arms, her charm fading. You're overreacting, Jake. It's just neighborly goodwill. Don't you think you're being a bit territorial? I held her gaze. It's not territorial. It's ownership. This land, this house, this pool theory mine. Next time anyone steps foot here without permission, I'm calling the cops. Her eyes flickered with something cold, not warmth, but calculation. She gave a small, sharp smile. Well, maybe we'll just see whose land this really is. She turned, herding the kids back to Pinewood, Leah VYing me, standing there, fists clenched, heart racing. This wasn't over. Nearly midnight, I woke to the sound of splashing. At first, I thought it was the wind or a stray animal, but then came a sharp, wet slap like someone slipping. My stomach knotted. I grabbed a flashlight, slipped on sandals, and crept in the backyard. The night was heavy, the moon casting pale light across the pool deck. My flashlight beam cut through the shadows, and there she was, Karen Walsh. Her pricey blouse clung to her like wet paper, and she was flailing in the deep end, gasping, blood trickling from her forehead. She must have climbed in or jumped in, botched it. For a split second, I froze. This woman, who'd spent weeks hounding me, who'd trespassed with a smile, was now drowning in my pool, Yunin vy Ted, in the dead of night. Instinct kicked in. I dove in, wrapped my arms under her shoulders, and hauled her to the steps. She coughed, half-conscious, muttering. Karen, stay with me, I said, checking her wound. It wasn't gushing, but it needed help. Shaking, I called 911, explaining to the dispatcher. Trespasser fell in my pool, head injury, send an ambulance. Paramedics arrived, loaded her up, and I stayed behind, soaked, shivering, heart hammering. By morning, I expected a call, maybe an awkward thank you from Karen. Instead, a courier dropped off an envelope. Inside, a letter from a law firm. Karen was suing me. She claimed I'd failed to secure my property, Leah VYing the gate inadequately protected and the pool hazardous. She demanded compensation for trauma, injuries, and medical bills. I stood on my porch, gripping the letter, jaw tight. This woman had trespassed, nearly died from her own recklessness, and now she was twisting it to make me the bad guy. The audacity burned, but a colder truth hit. Karen wasn't just pushy, she was dangerous. I wasn't letting her win. I called Emily Stone, the sharpest lawyer in Sarasota, known for shredding baseless lawsuits. I laid it all out. Karen's harassment, the kids at the pool, her nighttime stunt, my ace. Security cameras. We're VYEU'd the footage, and there it was, Karen sneaking to the fence at midnight, climbing over in sandals, slipping by the pool's edge. No open gate, no in VY Tatai on, just her. Emily smirked. She just gift-wrapped your defense, Jake. But we didn't stop there. I started talking to neighbors, something I'd rarely done. Word of Karen's antics had spread, and people opened up. Mrs. Larson, a sweet older lady, said Karen tried to fine her for unauthorized flower beds, even though her home predated the HOA. A young couple recounted Karen demanding to oversee their barbecue for fire safety. Another guy said she'd trespassed to inspect a tree on his land. Karen was a control freak, wielding the HOA like a scepter. Emily and I gathered affide of VYTS, photos, even old HOA newsletters where Karen hinted non-members should fall in line. We confirmed with police I'd filed no prior trespassing complaints. By the court date, we weren't just defending, we were ready to expose her. The courthouse hummed with tension as I walked in, files under my arm, Emily striding beside me in her navy suit, radiating focus. I'd done my best slacks, buttoned down, but my stomach churned. Across the aisle sat Karen, in a beige suit, hair perfect, flashing that tight-lipped smile. She nodded at me, smug, like she'd already won. Her lawyers went first, painting me as a negligent slob who left a dangerous pool unsecured, causing their clients near-fatal accident. They droned about unsafe gates and trauma. I clenched my fists, but Emily whispered, let them talk. Then we hit, and hit we did. Emily stood, voice crisp, laying out the facts. My property wasn't HOA, had clear private signs, and the gate was locked. Then the footage. The courtroom screen showed Karen scaling my fence, laughing on her phone, then slipping. Gasps echoed. Emily piled on neighbor testimonies. Mrs. Larson described Karen's flower bed threats. The couple shared their barbecue story. Another neighbor detailed her tree trespassing. HOA records showed Karen pressuring board members to target non-members. By the time Emily sat, Karen's lawyers looked sick. The judge grilled Karen on why she was on my property at midnight. She crumbled, snapping, "It should have been open to the community." The room stilled. She just admitted her mindset. Rules didn't apply to her. After a recess, the judge ruled. Karen's lawsuit was audacious and baseless. Her injury? Self-inflicted. He dismissed her claims and granted my countersuit, ordering her to pay my legal fees and damages for stress and defamation. The gavel fell, and I exhaled stunned. The fallout was swift. News spread, and local stations ran the story. HOA President Trespasses nearly drowns, sues neighbor loses big. Cameras swarmed Karen's house. Neighbors, once silenced, spoke out. The HOA board, under pressure, voted no confidence. Karen resigned, pale and rigid, as an audit of her decisions began. The neighborhood shifted. People who'd avoided me now stopped by, thanking me. Mrs. Larson brought muffins, saying, "You did what we couldn't." The barbecue couple in VY me over. I used the settlement to upgrade security cameras, an 8-foot fence, bold no trespassing signs. I wasn't paranoid. I was done taking chances. One Saturday, I hosted a pool party for the neighbors who'd backed me. Kids splashed, adults laughed, the grill sizzled. As the sun set, someone showed me a news clip. Karen, stiff outside her home, dodging reporters, insisting she was misunderstood. The headline? Former HOA President faces audit for power abuse. I smiled, not with spite, but with quiet justice. That night, alone by the pool, feet in the water, I exhaled. This was my sanctuary, fought for and won. The stars gleamed, the waves hummed, and I knew the chapter was closed. But it left me wondering, how far would you go to protect what's yours? Was I too harsh, or was Karen's entitlement the real VY lane? Should pools be shared with neighbors, or is private property sacred? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you're Team Jake, and subscribe for more wild stories. Let's hear it. What would you have done?